Uh, Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up. The epitome of technique, can't survive in my current thought.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And man, it's still weird. It's been a full year making these videos, man. Saying other yellow hat guy here, right? Captain Sensation channel has been Captain Sensation for the longest, but it wasn't until a year ago, around GoFest, where I decided to make this channel more focused on gaming and more about Pokemon Go, and eventually the Super Mario Maker 2 and future things to come. There's also other stuff on this channel, vlogs and unboxings, things of that nature, story times. But yeah, consistently done this for a year. It feels like time just went by like that. So speaking of time, it's going to be a long video. I'm going to ramble on for about an hour, so if that's not your thing, I understand. But we're going to just react to what I found at GoFest. I know it's been some time. I initially should have made this video, early, but I didn't for a couple of reasons. One of those, and we'll get to that in a second, is just, well, here we go. GoFest 2020, welcome. They wanted me to take a snapshot of my buddy, a couple of things like that. But before I interrupted myself, the first reason is mainly because, I didn't want to act off emotion. I know a lot of you are online putting up tweets and comments about how you felt about GoFest, for better or for worse, and I don't want that to influence my opinions of it. At the same time, I didn't want to burn any bridges that I may not know I have by just saying the most extreme thought of it. So we'll let these dogs across the street stop barking. Okay, I think they're stopping for now. I don't want that to impact my thoughts solely, because let me tell you, last year versus this year is different. Yes, we have a pandemic that made things way different for, not just us Pokemon Go players, but the whole world. The whole world is impacted by this, and it's still going on. I thought back in March when I started making these videos that were using words like pandemic, that it was just going to be temporary. YouTube on their own was trying to punish you, in a sense, for using the word COVID-19, because it was almost as if you were talking about some kind of conspiracy or something controversial. It's like, no, this is the way the world is right now. And you can't help but not talk about it, Wearing a mask is like wearing underwear, a shirt, socks. You've got to have it, You've got to have it. And that said, I can't imagine being in a park with, 1,000 people or whatever without having a mask on, or even with a mask on and not worrying about my health, let alone safety. You've got all kinds of marches and all kinds of things going on. But let's take it back to what this video is about, okay? I'm just comparing the two to then give you my feelings on everything. Because, by the way, while I'm going to ramble on for over an hour on this one, reacting to this, because here we've got the Rotom here. We've got Rotom. I keep saying Rotom. Rotom. And this looks like he's got like a garden hose or something, but I thought he looks more like a washing machine, though. People thought I was crazy when I said, hey, eventually it seems like they just started making whatever. It went from animals to mythical creatures to, hey, how about trash bags and lawn equipment? How about trash bags and appliances? Where's the toaster Pokemon? What's up, Game Freak? But, yeah. I was impressed with that. Rotom, I wasn't expecting to be there in the beginning. A new Dex entry that you could only get at GoFest. Now, you see I met my goal here, which was over 3 million dust here. We're on the pathway to 4 million. But that may take a while because, as you'll see from this video, things may not go like I want them to. So let me break it down to you. This is day 1, and they wanted me to get 20, or all of you who did it, 20 of each type. 20 water, 20 fire, 20 grass. Shouldn't be that hard. Now, we chose to go to Piedmont Environmental Center because I had a good experience there the week prior. All right. And then I also had to battle in 2 raids. That was part of the welcome. And I was thinking, like, GoFest was last year, that it was going to be like multiple chapters, like part 1 of 6. No, this was it for Saturday. That was it. So I was like, oh, I should be able to blow through this. How dare they just insult us by giving us that little bit? Nope. They made it to where there were certain time frames where most of those things are going to be available, i.e., 11 o'clock, it's not going to be water. It's going to be a dusting of every little thing. So in the beginning, they jumped off hot, right? Durant was out here, right? So here I am doing the 2 raids to get them out of the way. That's what's going on here. Somewhere in here you'll see after that, maybe before I missed it because I was talking, but Durant was out there, and I was just like, wow. And unbeknown to me, Durant could be shiny. I was not even aware of that. I tried to stay off the internet as much as I could when it came to Twitter and Leak Duck and stuff that would just spoil Pokemon GoFest. You can't really avoid them if you're a content creator like myself, and then you watch other people, Trainer Tibbs, Brandon Ton, and, some of these other guys, you end up watching them. And Trainer Club, those videos are popping up on my feed now because I'm seeing some of his content. And some people were salty because these guys are like, hey, delete your unnecessary Pokemon, free up, storage space. And, I can't blame them for wanting to do that. I did it too. But here's the deal. I was going to delete those at some point anyway. It's still a testament to why isn't Pokemon Home connected with Pokemon Go yet, but that's part of the reason. Because as soon as I was belly aching about that in my own video, the last one before this, that was Pokemon Go related, they increased the storage. Another reason that it took me a while to make these videos, and this is me and a friend here who's in the raid, so and we'll talk about that soon too. If not this video, next video. There's an announcement I have to make. So I won't forget that, trust me, because I actually just want to lead out with that. But that may be bad news for some of you, but it'll be good news for some of you. But overall, it's going to be, I think, a move that I need to make for myself. So that said, and not related to it, I took a break from playing the game so hard because I got a crimp in my hand right in here. It still kind of hurts, You're sitting here, and I can throw with my thumb, occasionally with my pinky, and I can throw with all fingers now. And I hadn't played that intensely in so long, and it hurt. I had to take a break. My girlfriend was like, what's wrong with your hand? You've been playing Pokemon too much. I was like, no, maybe that's not it. But hopefully that's all it is, because carpal tunnel and stuff like that, we don't want that. Knock on wood, even if it's cheap artificial wood. So here it is, the Executor. We're doing that raid, wrapping that up. So it was from 10 to 8 p.m. each day, and you're just like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. Only $15. The perks are you don't have to travel, right? No hotels. You don't have to spend money eating out. No lag from, flying. You don't have to make that drive. So, it's all good being able to do this from home. But was it really? Because we were at Piedmont, and when we first started out, as you'll see here, because this is still the Executor, stuff started out hot. Like, oh, if you didn't get the Durant from one of the other special researches, well, here he is. Maybe you got lucky and got the shiny. But there was a grass type right there in that executor. So that was cool, even though I more than likely, yeah, I'm getting rid of them. Here I am, there's a couple of stops over here, but not enough Pokemon are spawning. And here's what it is. It's like, you know, I got the star piece on, I got my incense, which you can stack now. What's up with the question marks there? I don't know if those are supposed to be Dratini or Pikachu, but they had question marks over the faces. Item bag is full. Zangoose is here. So, you know, these are some of these regional Pokemon now. Zangoose and Viper, you know, switch just like Illumisi and what's the other one? I can't stand its name so much. Volbeat. Switch around. So, you know, Zangoose is here with a shiny, but I'm just like, I don't care for Zangoose. And he didn't care for me because that's why he ran here. But they had, like, you know, confetti and stuff like that fall, which is pretty neat. You know, so all of this started out, you know, hot, but it was like, it's 10:15. Where are more diverse Pokemon? Well, it's too early. It's too early, Mr. Hat Guy, to whine about not getting shinies. But I had this vibe because, you know, hey, maybe it's the location. Can't be the cell phone service. Maybe it's the location. Let's lure up the place. Boom! Here's the Durant I was talking about earlier. Now, if you have your best buddy or your buddy as a best buddy because, you know, you've got the all 4 hearts filled up. I think they bring you Pokeballs, like a whole bunch of them every half hour or whatever. Not quite there yet with Tauros, but we will get there. We're even closer as of this video. I was looking for that and not to run out of balls. Durant here was causing problems. I was so shocked that he even spawned. I was almost miffed that he ran. However, you know, already having one, it was like, okay, no biggie. 16 minutes in, maybe I'll see another one. That's what my mindset was. So I did have my gotcha on. I don't have it on. Well, yeah, here we go. I have my gotcha on. Auto catcher, you know, a great thing to have. That's what people suggested too. But part of me was like, you know, did my auto catcher cost me some Pokemon too? When you go in the journal, does it tell you, hey, this one was a shiny that ran? I know some people's it does tell them that. But for me, it'll say, hey, you caught a shiny, but it doesn't necessarily tell me when one runs away. So I just assume that if it doesn't say a shiny ran away, that I didn't encounter a shiny. So that was equally frustrating. Here's this Meditite here, which I don't know if I tap on it or not. I can't remember. So it was good for me to kind of take some days to let this moment pass so that I'm not in my feelings when I'm watching all this again. Now, I really wanted to record. I got a nice little tripod now to not only I can hold it in my hand, but carry it with me and display as I'm doing in this video. But something just felt off. It was like, look, when I go to GoFest like I did last year, I enjoyed walking around and being around people, networking. That was the most fun part of it. Doing this from home, it wouldn't have felt right. So even at Piedmont, like the spawn seemed really slow. I don't remember how long we stayed there. We stayed there for a while, and I'll get into it. Excuse me, as the footage progresses. But when you're walking in a huge park and there's like, you know, I don't know, 10 to 15, maybe 20 Pokemon all within your, you know, circumference to like, what there's just one right here, the Sableye. You're like, this ain't right. And I got an incense on. And there's a lure up. So, yeah, a lot of junk here that I needed to get rid of. So, 10:18. Still no shinies. But it's all good though. Funny thing is, I'm watching my phone now and I'm like, are these alerts that I'm getting? Those have got to be from, you know, when this was recorded. I got to figure out how to keep those alerts from going off while I'm recording without turning off all the apps, you know. I know some of y'all who do YouTube have figured out a way to do that or use a different kind of software or something. I may have to look into that and not just use the standard screen recorder on iPhone. So there you go. I probably should delete that, but who cares? There's my trainer code. You can't say you never had it. Doesn't mean we can become friends, because what's going on here is this. Like Juby here. Juby is a subscriber to the channel. Since day one, he's been subscribed. I've got some of you who are faithful subscribers, Patreons, and as you saw here, I'm maxed out on friends. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it here in this video, and next video I'll just give my overall opinions on GoFest. How about we do it like that? This will be the announcement video here about what I'm about to just say now, and then next video we'll talk about my thoughts or, you know, suggestions and things like that, kind of like how I did last year. So here's what it is, y'all. It's sort of draining for me to continue doing the gift thing for everybody. 200 friends on one account, over 100 friends on another account that I seldom turn on anymore. I just can't do it anymore. And what's happening now is, now that we can remote raid, a lot of us we're choosing to stay home, which is the responsible thing. But if everybody stays home, it's just a dozen of us actually showing up to the raids. Okay, no problem there. What actually happens, though, is I get a dozen inbox messages, please invite me, you know, here's my code, as if I have time to add you right then and there when there's a 2-minute lobby. I've got to pick my team after first already getting in there, so switch those two. Then, assuming that I was in there first, finding the 5 people or 4 others besides you that want to also be a part of this raid. So part of that is switching between Messenger, or, you know, if you're using Discord, you having to do that and then say, all right, Niantic, show me who's online. Well, it'll show you the first few people. But then there's a scattering of them that are also online that are further down there because it doesn't update in real time. It's not going to constantly refresh and show you who's online. Some of y'all have to be online before you say, hey, send me an invite. Some of you know the raid is happening or hasn't hatched yet and is going to. You need to have your code in that chat to give somebody time to add you. And that's not all on you. Some of it is this. Even if you have done all that and you are friends with me or whoever is trying to add you, you've got to be in the position to immediately click on the invite to accept. Because what happens is I invite one person and I scroll down and find the next. 50 seconds have been eaten off the time. That leaves you at 70 seconds, hoping that Niantic then gets it to you within 20 seconds from me send, for you to then accept. Because what you don't want to happen is this. You're in the lobby, only 2 people have gotten the invite or have accepted it, and that leaves you unsure, and then you decide to back out because you don't want to waste the pass. Because what? Right now, you don't lose a pass as long as the raid doesn't start. So you can be in the lobby and quit, but once the raid starts, you've lost the pass. So what does that mean? Normally, you do a raid in person you lose, you can keep going. But what about your remote raid friends? They lost that pass by failing to do it or backing out. So none of these hard starts or flex times, or I'm sorry, none of these get out and jump back in as let's look, whoever's there at that time when I sent the invites, we're going with that team. So the good news is I was able to eventually figure out, hey, I could 3-man this. Me and 2 people who are raiding remotely, we can still do it with, over 60 seconds to 100 seconds to spare, depending on if we had any errors or anybody got kicked out or anything like that. So what does all that mean? What does all that rambling mean? It means this. Starting now, I'm going to start deleting some friends. Don't worry, that doesn't mean you have to watch my content or be a Patreon for you to be friends with me. I'm not saying that, at least not now. I know that might be unpopular. Some people only want their actual friends to be who they play with, but I think I'm beyond that stage now for myself personally, because some of you, we've been friends for a long time, but your interest in the game has faded, and so you don't open gifts anymore, and we're stuck at like 3 stars. So I'm left here waiting for you to open the gift or find your, interest in the game again. Meanwhile, there's new blood out there that's like, hey, can you please add me? I would love to help out, and they can't. Not saying I'm choosing them over you either. What I am saying is those who are following other Yellow Hat Guy, you have priority for me in this game at this time. So what I need for you to do is if you're watching this video right here, right now, and you plan to subscribe, Patreon, Super Chat, Twitch, any of those things, you need to drop your code so that I can add you as a part of my team. I'm not saying you got to watch all my stuff or any of that stuff, but by doing so, you're letting me know that you support me and that your interest in the game is going to accommodate mine so that it's worthy of me saying, you know what? Between this one person who's online and you, I may invite you because you watch my content and you're aware of what's happening. You're aware of the strategies that I'm suggesting in these videos every week to you guys. So that's what I need you to do. I need you to provide your code so that when I start a list call, I can remember you. So whenever this video goes up, I'm going to give that a full 7 days to see any comments, and I'm not looking for them necessarily on Facebook. I know on YouTube. I know a lot of you just watch the video on Facebook and may not leave comments, but I implore you to leave more comments. More comments means more eyes, more people. And if you're looking for friends, by all means, use my social media, not my personal, but Other Yellow Hat Guy, Facebook.com/Other Yellow Hat Guy, all together. Use that. Use that. Use the Pokemon Go High Point group page. When I post my videos there, in the comments there, feel free to put your stuff there too. This isn't anything personal if I remove you. It's not what it is. It's just there's a limitation of 200, and I honestly don't have the time to scroll through 200 to send invites anymore. I feel like that's the future of it. There's no going back to how it was before. It's just going to cause an uproar. If I told you that you can just raid from home, but once the pandemic ends, now you got to get back out here, you're kind of like, I like the game I was during COVID. Or I could just be at work and still be a part of raids. I can't tell you how many raids I'm traveling the country doing projects, on my other jobs. And I'm seeing y'all do these raids, and I wish that, somebody could log in for me and do it. But, that's a trust issue there. But now, in this day and age, you can be at work on lunch break and just boop, 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 boop. Thank you. Appreciate it. The ones I was looking for, instead of having to come out late at night or after work or whatever and hope that some of them are out. Nope, I got them when y'all got them, and I had the help that I needed to get them. Right? The new legendaries drop, after 5 o'clock right? An egg that appears at 4 when it hatches has a good chance of being the new one, right? So guess what? Some of us are still at work and in traffic. Hey, I'll just stay at work. Invite me. Send me an invite. Still get it done and not have to fly down the highway just to be there at hatch. It's an awesome thing. Awesome thing. So they gave you 200 balls, and I was already over my limit. I couldn't open a lot of stuff. I healed up a lot of guys here. Kyogre, always been a beast. But I didn't want to spend on more items. You know, a plethora of max potions, a plethora of max revives. So, you know, again, you can stack these incense, and that's always a great thing. So I did play for the full, I didn't play for the full 8 hours. I want to say I played for like a good, well, you could argue that was still close to like, you know, the full time. But I got home maybe around 4-ish. I think it was till like 8, so there was still another like 4 hours left. But it felt like I was out there all day because we did change locations. We started out Piedmont Environmental Center, like I told you guys. And then we ended up moving somewhere else. So we're still there, and what I loved about this event was the Gibbles. Even though, you know, I felt like I may have had enough Gibbles already at this point, could never get enough of them. This is candy that when I get my Garchomp where I want, it's less of my rare candy that I've got to put into to max them out. And Gibbles just look so cute. The little shark fin and everything, and the eyes. It's just like, yeah, I'd be mortified seeing one of those in person, but the animated style, you know, it's pretty cool. So 1 red for me, but look, here's an unknown. Now, these letters, I'd be remiss if I didn't announce it. They're the letters G and O for go, like, you know. And I felt like they didn't want to give everybody everything. Like, you went to Chicago, you got more letters than just 2, okay? And what you may or may not have noticed, because I haven't been looking at my phone, I've been telling you, you know, a little bit of story time and a little bit of, you know, announcements going further, is, you know, hey, where are the Shinies? Where are the Shinies? And that's the thing that rubbed people the wrong way, because I feel like this year, and I'll talk about this more in the next video, it just seems like the shiny rate was low. Now, I'm used to it if it's just me. You know, this was no different than last year where, you know, the crew I was with, every few minutes they were getting shinies, and it felt like it would take me a little longer. But I'll tell you this, 30 minutes into it, I already had like 2 shinies. Whereas right here, nothing yet, I don't think. Maybe this might be the first one. No, this ain't it. But spoilers, I do get one of those. I do get one of those. So here, we got the 2 raids there, and we claimed that. And I want to say that's like, oh, that was a Gibble or reward. I was going to say Snorlax because he's one of the rewards too. But it is a Gibble. And, you know, I'm just pineapping all of them. All of them. Don't care if they were good Gibbles or not. Again, this is just me farming candy right here. So, you know, again, action is pretty slow here. I just didn't want to record. It just didn't feel right. You know, I felt like I should have had. I was excited. I was already in my mind thinking, you know, hey, I'm going to be walking around, tripod, showing you off everything. But then, even with these few gyms here, there's just 3 or 4 Pokemon here, and none of them particularly new or interesting that we haven't had already. You know, so it's like, well, maybe one of these Sableyes is going to be shiny. As I go for the slack off. You know, because I already got a shiny Sableye. So, but, you know, another one wouldn't hurt. I think this one ended up being a good one. We'll see in a second if I caught it or not. But it felt like, hey, I didn't want to record, A, because it didn't seem like the Pokemon were that diverse here. B, it was hot out, but that didn't stop me from going out. Because I did want to go out because, like I said, Go Fest last year, that euphoria of being around friends and just being out and just being immersed in the game, that's what I look forward to versus being at home. I felt like I wasn't going to get that many at home. Conversely, I know people who were making a killing and stayed home. But C, seeing people like Trainer Tips who, in their area, they were fearful of being out and just did it from home. And I felt like maybe that would send the wrong message if I'm out here during a pandemic catching Pokemon and put up a video like that, when instead, I could still go out and enjoy the game, but not showcase the part of it that has me with a crowd of people and trying to I guess live as if this isn't a trying time right now. This isn't to get political. I know some of you, you might have certain feelings about what's going on, wearing masks and things like that. Only thing I can tell you is do what's best for you, but at the same time, you need to be mindful of others around you. So, hey, if you don't want to wear those masks because you feel a certain kind of way, please try to stay away from other people so you don't possibly get them, sick because you're sick and don't know it. That's how I look at it. Me personally, I try to wear them wherever I can, when I can. It's often hard to always remember. However, where I live, it's mandated. So you've got to be out in public with a mask on. You cannot be out anywhere without a mask on. Some of these stores aren't really enforcing it too much, but it's been stated, hey, you can't come in here without a mask on. So, having a huge tan line around your face from being out in the sun all day, like I have on my wrist from wearing the gacha, you can see where the skin is two-toned. That wouldn't be appealing either. Sorry. So those are reasons why I was like, I'll bring the tripod anyway and record just a little bit. I did, but yeah, I still had a good time regardless of those constraints. So what you can see here, and check out Quick Thoughts since they decided to pop up with an alert here. What you can see here is, still only one water, one grass. No fire yet. But again, they did it in waves. So the lull here is probably me talking to people. Probably a lot of that in these videos. So I apologize for that in advance. But, don't be so caught up into what I'm getting or not getting as you are receiving the information that I'm also giving you, because it took some time to just process all this and be like, should I even be comparing last year to this year? Because, the hype is when you left Go Fest the previous years, you tell people how amazing it was, and what you want to do is, trade some stuff to people. And it's interesting to look at trades now, because last year I had brought home, over 100 unknown and over 100 Pachirisu for a lot of you to get from me. And that's why I'm having to call the list now, because a lot of you stopped sending gifts and aren't available to trade right now. And that may be partially due to COVID, but also maybe you weren't, that was over a year ago. Already got it from somebody else, or just fell off the map. So I could give those unknowns to somebody who didn't go to Go Fest, or wants to re-roll, or is a fan and just wants one from other Yellow Hat Guy, and that's the direction I'm choosing to go here. So you see this raid counter here, that's pretty neat, letting you know, I guess, every hour, unbeknownst to me at this time in the recording, but they had little bonus indicators pop up letting you know how much time was left to take advantage of those perks. So I think here it was like, you got extra XP or dust or something like that from each of these raids. So, it was just really cool here to have the idea that a lot of stuff, no matter what you clicked on, could be shiny. That feeling's never going to go away from GoFest, though you could argue that depending on how many you got and how your day went, that the next go around you may choose or may not choose to participate. But from what I understand, and we'll talk about it some more next video, they sold a lot of tickets, and why wouldn't they? You've got a tiny, part of the world in Chicago. Not that Chicago's tiny, but put it in perspective. This is Chicago, and then you've got the whole world. All right, and Chicago is still smaller than that, but you get what I'm saying, right? One part of the world versus the whole world, you should sell more. You should. Now, they could be in bed, they being an Niantic could be in bed, and most likely are, with some of the hotels and some of the restaurants around those areas where they're like, hey, give us perks, we're bringing traffic here, and what have you, and make some money on the back end that way. But maybe the GoFest tickets, I think, were like $20, and this time they were like $16, knowing that, people's economies were affected, different countries' economies. So it's like, hey, everybody from anywhere can play, all at the same time. So that was cool. But eventually there were problems. I don't know when it's going to come up in the video, but first thing you notice is, hey, there's a couple of Croagunk who are water and who I need for the water event. At least I think, no, Croagunk is not water. Croagunk, I believe, is toxic and fighting or something like that. Maybe poison type, but he's definitely not water. He should be, yeah, there you go. You see poison and something else, but he ain't water, although he's like a toad. So, yeah. None of those were counting towards the water for me. And as I'm, appraising all these, I'm deciding who's going to go on the chopping block. Really, that's what's happening here. So we did get a really good Snorlax. And everybody else, cute without the E, cut from the team. So in getting rid of a lot of those Pokemon, I had plenty of room. I did buy, maybe 2 upgrades. So I went, I went all the way up to 3150. So that, I still have plenty of space now. It just felt so much better to be able to catch Pokemon and not think about space filling up. But that's how this always starts, right? You play and you don't think about space filling up because you're like, oh, this one's okay, but is it really great though? You don't want to just get rid of okay Pokemon initially because you never know. That might be all you get. But during this time, I spent a lot of time still appraising some and discarding them as time went by. Last thing you need is, oh, you can't touch on this Pokemon. You have too many Pokemon. Then, after deleting some, the Pokemon is gone, and that could have been your shiny. So yeah, Unknown fled from me. And that might have been the second time since the game's been out, but, they're everywhere, so I wasn't worrying about them fleeing, but, And let me rephrase that. Unknown hadn't fled from me as much as one despawned. Yeah, despawn. I tell that story all the time. How, hydroplaning in the rain, trying to get to an unknown, leaving a GameStop, and as soon as I got there, I could see it on the screen, and as I'm trying to tap on it, despawns. And it's easy to forget that story after going to a Go Fest and seeing unknowns, and not just one letter, but like all these different, 6 or 7 different letters being present. I know I saw some comments where people were like, I didn't get my badge for the unknown, It's like, no, it's 10 different letters, not 10 unknowns, 10 different letters of unknown. And you've got to do the same if you want 25, so you're going to have to keep re-rolling unknowns to get all of them. So while that didn't seem appealing to me back then, it kind of is now, because over time I think I have seen at least half the alphabet. So we'll see where things go from there. So there you go. And another cool thing was, for you new guys, if you were to have some other research going on, like Jumpstart or something like that, you probably got a lot of those other things out of the way too while doing GoFest. So here, I still don't see any shinies, but Durant has to go. Durant's my boy. Durant with Dig was very helpful to me. If you saw my Sword and Shield playthrough, Sword playthrough, go check that out. It may still be on Twitch. It may not be. Twitch. I don't know how long they archive stuff, but it ain't on my front page anymore. And I don't think I put any of Pokemon Sword on my YouTube channel, unfortunately. But check it out. There will be the finale for Link's Awakening up there at some point. I will put that on YouTube at the end of it right now. I'm going to move on to some other games shortly. I know some of you are like, what happened to the Final Fantasy VII? What happened to the Paper Mario? Those are 2 RPGs there. And I feel like Final Fantasy will return to live stream on YouTube. I will play that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I'm not really sure. But I will announce it on Facebook when I do that. But Paper Mario will be starting. I will be playing that on either YouTube or Twitch. It will come back on there. So here's another Dratini here. And, I didn't expect it to be shiny, but I'm always for Dratini. Dratini was that. Dratini was what Larvitar was, and now I guess you could say Gibble is. Where they're like so rare that you're just like, hey, I don't care if they're terrible or not. It's candy. Whereas this Bellsprout that I actually put in there, it's like, I don't even have to touch that. I'm not even going to entertain it. So let's see here. I think we've got footage up until this bonus XP goes away. And possibly a little bit more after that. Even with this incense on, I'm wanting to rotate the screen as if this is real time for me right now and nothing's happening. But we'll see what's in this egg here. I do not remember what's in this egg. Here it is. Clink. So I think what happened here was we were deciding whether or not we wanted to do another Gibble, if that's what it was, in a 1-star. Maybe Gibble was in 2 stars, but whatever it was. I didn't want to use a pass anyway, but I would have took one for the team and done it anyway. Excuse me. A little sleepy here. But not for another Clink raid. Yes, I could use the shiny Clink. I'm still on the hunt for one of those, but I think at this point I had already used my 2 passes. Like I used my 2 passes that I had planned on using for raids. So yeah, I kept a G and an O, even though I don't think they were the greatest. Doing some more appraisals here. So yeah, here it is, nearly an hour in, and no shinies yet. Some Gibbles and some Durants and some Metatites. But I'm like, water types? Grass types? Other than that Executor, not there. People were like, well, Dratini's water, right? No, you see Dratini in water biomes sometimes, but nope. Dratini is definitely a dragon type. So what they actually brought back too, I saw more of them later. I guess I should talk about that next video too, but I'll talk about it now since I've covered mostly everything I wanted to share in this video. Was, you know, they brought back some of the other legendaries. They brought back Palkia. They brought back Groudon. They brought back Giratina Origin form, and you know the alternate form. So as I scroll through people's feet here I am going to... So you do get to see a little bit of the park here, right? You can see people's feet here. Where is my buddy? My buddy is nowhere to be found. So here's where it starts, you know. So before I start talking about this, they brought back those legendaries, so a lot of people who weren't playing the game or just wanted more of them got to join in, and that's where a lot of my grievances with the, you know, friends list and everything that I talked about earlier come into play, because, you know, I was just getting bombarded, whether or not it's messages from people, you know, asking me to invite them or them inviting me, and it's like, I just want to play. Maybe I need to turn this online to offline. Boom! First shiny. There's the Metadite. I'm showing it to you as if you didn't already see this side by side me. But yeah, Metadite is there. But you noticed while I was trying to take a picture of my buddy, I could not see my buddy on screen. So the friend thing at this point, I know a lot of you are aware, started glitching out. We weren't on that step yet, but the bugs in the game started showing up. The bugs in the server. So here, I was able to take a picture of another Pokemon, just not my buddy. So you could get up to 5 Rotoms a day. I don't even think I got all 5 on Saturday. I was probably so immersed in the game trying to get shinies that, you know, I just said, hey, forget all the Rotoms. It's not like they're the different appliances, right? Whew. Excuse me again, y'all gotta forgive me. I was just really thankful that it didn't rain, there wasn't a storm. Really thankful for all that. So there's another Rotom. And I'm wondering now if the candy for it will be the same for the other forms. Like, that's the electric and water type. I'm sure, you know, the other types will be here to follow at some point. What I did want to point out, though, in the rest of this video, is the announcement of a couple of rumors that are now true. Niantic had a meeting like right around the start of GoFest, if not shortly before. Not a meeting, but like a video that they put out. I'm sure there was a meeting too, but a video they put out where some of the developers and key people, John Hankey himself, they were all out talking about, you know, GoFest and, you know, just embellishing on the last couple of years and what have you. A lot of us have been playing since day one, or, you know, in the beginning of the game, what have you, and we're level 40, if not close to it. Now they've got to raise that carrot higher. And does that mean more XP? No. Not necessarily. So it's going to result in XP, but you're going to have to do different things to get the XP. So yes, the rumors are true. Around GoFest, they talked about level 50. So part of the rumor that's not true is around GoFest, the cap was increased. But no, it is coming. It will be this year. You'll have to do a lot. And from what I understand, your XP that you already have is not going to go towards level 41. It's almost as if you're going to have to go from level 1 to level 40 again just to reach level 41. Yes. And then likely again 42. So, the next 10 levels will likely take you several years unless you're going to be grinding like crazy. And it may involve doing certain events just to get a lot of the experience. It's just not worth it with the same types of Pokemon. But at least that gives life to Lucky Eggs again. And Mass Evolving, it gives life to those again. With the ability to put a Lucky Egg on and be invited to like 10 raids because you don't have to take time to drive anywhere. That's an awesome opportunity that we have now too. So stay tuned. We'll see more on that. The Mega Evolutions are coming, and it's been reported that it's not going to be a permanent thing. So yeah, all your old Pokemon that I guess have the ability to Mega Evolve in the Pokemon games will be able to Mega Evolve. We talked about my favorite Pokemon, Gengar. Will have all white with the yellow eyes and yellow teeth and everything and look menacing. Be a temporary thing, but in PvP, that would be cool to be able to Mega Evolve. That'll change the Battle League once again, being able to Mega Evolve. I look at Mega Evolutions as, doing your super moves in like Street Fighter. Where you can, charge up and, evolve and all that. That's cool. Whether or not you can just do that in regular raid battles, I would assume you can, but I'm pretty sure they're going to allow it in PvP. It would be cool if you could do it in raids too. If you, didn't just fight like a regular Charizard, maybe it was a Mega Charizard from the start, and you could choose to Mega Evolve or not. Those would all be interesting questions and opportunities Niantic has to show us in the future. So those were, I guess the two things. We talked Mega Evolutions, and we talked level cap increase, and then lastly, I believe the next generation is going to be on its way too. We got Victini. There was no spoilers. There was no Arceus, so we're waiting to see that. But they did announce some additional, I guess, raids and stuff like that will be happening that following week after GoFest. So I think I'll talk more about that next video, not right now. But Shiny Staryu, it's happening. Yes, it's happening. I'm excited for that. Several others, they're doing stuff in the following weeks that you're like, wow, that could have been part of GoFest. So I'm excited for all that. So my video is ended here, which means my video here is going to end. So we've got this Gibble. And actually, I was wrong. It hasn't ended. There's still a little bit more here. Item bag is full. Item bag is full. And I was going to end it, but what I want to see is there more shinies that I got in this part? Because let's just be honest. It has already jumped to, my camera's dying too. It has already jumped to a later part of the day. So don't delay, since we're seeing different Pokemon to help with your research. Be sure to use incense. Remember, you can now activate several incense at once. It brings a smile to my face knowing that trainers around the world. I'm just, I guess, tapping through this because I don't have the time to read all of it. So I think a lot of that was at the end of it. So it probably did end and I was tripping. I think a lot of that ended already. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of it did end already, unfortunately. And it had moved on to other parts of the day. Because what we ended up doing afterward was, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that too. I was about to end the video. Let me stretch here. Yeah. Don't get old, kids. We were not happy with the Piedmont Environmental Center, and it was nothing against the Environmental Center. The Environmental Center is great. Plenty of shade there for walking. But the Pokemon, as you could see, were not spawning the way we wanted them to. You know, there's two or three stops, you know, Mapscape and everything else in Jamestown was there, visible. But once you started walking the trail, problems! And I don't think we can solve them. Okay, I'll stop butchering Taylor Swift songs, but no, we couldn't. It wasn't a matter of logging out and logging back in like you thought. Everyone trying to send gifts to each other at the same time, because that's what they told you to do. They said, hey, save your gifts, you know, for your friendship interaction. You want to save that for GoFest because, you know, that's going to help achieve the reward. You know, every team had stuff that we were doing pre-GoFest, but it was up to everybody now to keep the momentum going with the friendship stuff so that we could hit these goals, so we could unlock the shiny Star U, for example. So myself and some others were like, hey, I can't even, my friends are gone. It was almost like they were deleted, right? You know they're not deleted. You know it's bugged because this is happening for everybody. The 1 or 2 shinies I might have shown you in this clip, which is probably just one, I think. I don't remember. Even though I watched most of it with you, I don't remember. But I can tell you how many shinies I got for the whole day. I will do that. But before I answer that, it was bugged out. You could not interact with the gifts. You could not. It was awful. That was the low point of the day, was knowing that you could not open and send gifts to friends. It may not have mattered at the time because, hey, you got plenty of stops around you maybe. You're getting gifts so you don't run out of Pokeballs. However, you could also hatch shinies from these eggs. And if you couldn't get them from the gifts, those are shinies you missed out on. See, this is what happened to me. I got, on day 1, 6 shinies. A lot of you claim you didn't get but maybe 3 or 4, if not any at all. Some of you may have gotten 16. Some of you may have gotten 20. I know I've seen that. And it was just like, wow. They gave you that many and gave other people so few. It happens. It happens. This was not a traditional GoFest, okay? Again, I'm talking about this more next video. Not a traditional GoFest. I know you're tired of hearing me say, we'll talk about this next video. Because we are. We are. There's too much in this video that I addressed. And I'm not going to make a 2-hour video. Instead, I'm going to give you an hour and 17 minutes or whatever, right? Until the footage stops. It was to where, are we going to achieve it? Now, Niantic did go ahead and give us the bonus for that anyway. But with like 8 minutes left, it looked like we weren't going to get it done, and the whole world still got it done. I guess they compensated us for it. They were like, yeah, we're aware. Everybody at the same time trying to open gifts and send people gifts all over the world. It's a tremendous strain on their servers. It had to be. It had to be. Because, you know, you think, hey, how long does it take for the button to be pressed to a signal to be sent to your cell phone carrier so that then you receive this gift? And you're trying to all do this with, what, with an hour time, right? I think that's how it went. You had an hour to do this whole friendship thing. And what I didn't realize was I had some shinies in these eggs. Again, tomorrow. Maybe. No, but I got 6 shinies. If I didn't say that, there. I got 6 on Saturday. So yeah, for me, it felt like it was too few. Now that I realized I told you that, I realized I did say it. I was used to like 6 shinies within an hour, and that felt like not enough. So how did they divvy that out? I'm not really sure. Was that part of the plan? I feel like it was. They wanted a different approach. So, not being sure of that at the time, we said, hey, let's get out of here. Let's go downtown Greensboro. Let's meet up a little bit later, get some lunch, what have you. But I went straight to Greensboro because I felt like I need to take advantage of most of this time because I don't have the whole day to play, unfortunately. Nor did I want to spend the whole day. Also, what I liked being at Piedmont was although it was packed, there wasn't a lot of people playing Pokemon. But downtown Greensboro, it was a lot of people playing Pokemon. It felt like one of the first week or two when the game came out. It wasn't that busy because of everything going on in the world, but you just knew, hey, people are playing Pokemon. It's not an original idea to be there. So the Pokemon, the spawns were a lot heavier, but the shiny drought was still real. It was just like, oh, so it's not just me. So some new shinies they had, and you all know this by now. They had the Heatmore, which looks awesome. I love the black shiny Pokemon. I love Rayquaza. I like Charizard. Heatmore, you can add him to the list with the ash look. They just look more menacing. They look more dark, more powerful. Versus a Dragonite that turns into Barney the dinosaur, right? Rayquaza with the black, gold, and red is just on another level of detail. So when you think Shadow Pokemon, it's like, oh, this is kind of what that was before those were a thing, right? Cooliosis. So you had Heatmore, you have Quillfish. Quillfish was interesting. I did not get the Quillfish during GoFest. So you also had Charmander, you had Bulbasaur, and you also had Squirtle, who all had Pikachu hats on. This yellow Pikachu hats, kind of like the visors that we had. They gave you avatar clothing too. But those 3 Pokemon were new, and they put silhouettes making you think that, hey, these were new Pokemon. Oh, you're tired of Pikachu with hats on? We're going to give you Pokemon with Pikachu hats on. You're welcome. That's what Niantic said to you. Those 3 could also be shiny. Now, they don't evolve, which, was a little underwhelming, but they were shiny. Somebody wanted mine. It was up for trade. Gladly. You can have it. Don't care. So those could be shiny. You also had Tangula, which I really, really wanted. Did not get spoilers. Tangula could be shiny, and a couple people with me, they did get one. And then you had the unknowns, the G and the O, which, while the value of my, 100 or so unknowns just plummeted, because everyone's got an unknown now. Now you've got the shinies. And I was like a madman trying to get one of those. I was like, with unknowns spawning everywhere, how much would it be of a hassle for me to just click on every unknown and hope to get one? Now, in the video here, we had shown unknowns popping up everywhere, at the environmental center. But downtown Greensboro, I wasn't seeing them like that. So, sorry, I'm reading something that I'm seeing here, trying to look and see what updates we have. Get some interesting news. When you least look for news, interesting news. But let's get off of that. Let's get off that because I will engage in that and be responding to certain things that'll take away from this video. Interesting times to be in. That's, as I lay back here, that's all I can say. So anyway, what I do want to know is a couple of things. How many shinies did you get? That's what I would ask in this video anyway. How many shinies did you get? Did you play with more than one account? I know some people, they bought a pass because it was affordable. Say, hey, I would have spent $30 anyway. Let me see if I can get some shinies and re-roll them between my two accounts. Did you play with more than one account? Where did you go? Did you stay home? Was the friendship thing a nightmare for you, or was it all okay in your area? So, before, so it's 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. your time, but it's 11 a.m. here on the East Coast, and around 1 p.m. it's now 11 a.m. West Coast. So all these spawns are now happening all at the same time, and I believe that's when the friendship thing was happening. Never mind that in the rest of the world it's a different time somewhere, and the event is still going on. So Australia starting out, it didn't happen to be a great experience from what I understand from them. And some countries, I think, got like a makeup, or they're getting a makeup. So I don't know if the rest of the world is, but I'll be interested in seeing that. But that's a challenge we'll also speak on. When? You said next video? Yeah, you got it. So that's what I want to know. How many did you get? Where did you play at? Because some of you played downtown High Point, and it looks like you did very well. I didn't want to be downtown this go around, but that looks like it could have been the spot to be. Because I saw people with multiple heat mores. Not sure about if they got multiple Tangulas, but yeah, the Quillfish are popping up. I feel like there's at least one more new shiny that I'm forgetting about that was also in the game. I know people were saying, oh, shiny Snorlax, but no, I don't think that's a thing yet. Shiny Snorlax is not unlocked yet. Maybe in the code, but not unlocked yet. So yeah, I feel like just the 20 for each of those three types was not enough. But the way they spaced it out was neat. It's just that once they spaced it out, it was like, So now I'm just playing for an extra hour. See, there's what they did. They went from unlocking the water to then, I think it went to grass. And instead of going to fire, it went back to water. Then once I got to Greensboro, then it went to fire. I quickly got that out of the way. I think you got some that are like ice types that appeared that also count as water, so it was easy to get the water out of the way once they started popping up. So there was that. I'm not sure if anything that was out shared types. I don't think there's a fire water type that is out right now, if at all. But you get what I'm saying. Some of those types it cross over, electric and water and stuff like that, so you got credit for a lot of that. So it made it a lot easier. So yeah, the Tangula was the grass shiny. Heatmore was the fire shiny. And Quillfish was the water shiny. So maybe it was just those three, the 2 different letter unknowns, those 3 starters. Those might have been all the shinies. Then they gave you Rotom. Oh, I forgot Durant. Durant was the other shiny there, which was just surprising to me that they would give Durant in its shiny form. Some people, that's their first Durant, and boom, there it is. So, hey, if you went to Go Fast, no longer region exclusive. And that's similar in the same light to Pachirisu last year, but you don't hear people asking for Pachirisu anymore. So that said, remember the important things of this video. One is we're going to talk about my feelings of Go Fest when? Next video. 2, I'm going to call my list of 200 people. I'm not getting rid of everybody. I'm not starting all over. It's just I want you, if you are a fan, if you watch my videos, if you support me on social media and things like that, you get priority on that list of people I'm going to be sending invites out to and what have you from here on out. You just have to keep me posted. Keep me posted on the Facebook page for Other Yellow Hat Guy and on the Pokemon Go High Point page. All those things are accessible to you. And also here on the YouTube comments. So feel free to let me know all of that. Because I know some YouTubers, again, they don't want that interaction with fans. But, I think that's a great way to all enjoy this game together and have our own community. So I look forward to that because some of you I only know through Pokemon and only interact with you through Pokemon. So why stop at just these videos when you can be featured in the videos indirectly? All right. So we covered that again. Also, we talked about the future of Pokemon Go with the new things that we've unlocked, the level cap. We've also talked about the Mega Evolutions coming. And then, lastly, you saw part of how my day went. I know it was hard to condense all that into 1 hour when I just only really showed you an hour. But with only 6 shinies, nothing really eventful happened there. I don't believe I told you which shinies I got. You saw the Metatype. I ended up getting Magikarps downtown. I think I got 2 shiny Magikarp. And then they announced August 8th, next week. Next weekend, I want to say. Yeah, it's next weekend. Magikarp Community Day. We'll end the video with that. Yeah. See, a lot of us are like, oh, but we've already got Magikarps and we've traded. But they're catering to the new fans. You got to understand that. New people who haven't played. And there's some of you who I heard say, hey, I never got a Magikarp after grinding all this time. Some of you don't want to trade because you're hoarding Stardust. You don't want to use Stardust. I get it. You don't want to use your candies and all that either. You just want to get it, on your own. So this is for you. They're giving him Aqua Tail, though. I don't know how I feel about that. Gyarados only, so maybe they'll make it special where it's got 3 bars or whatever on the attack, and it'll be good for PvP. But while I'm not thrilled, I'm not negative about it. It's coming up real quick. It's like, hey, we just finished Go Fest and the Community Day is right around the corner. It could have been anything else, but hey, they're starting out with the first one. Some people speculate that, if they're starting with Magikarp now, maybe you get the Mega Evolution of Gyarados that comes with it. That could be a thing too. While I feel personally they might be saving that for later on in the year, hey, it's not a surprising thing. So, yeah. Well, let me know how things went for you. Again, I appreciate all your support. It's been a long year, even though this year has felt like 2 years, like I've always been telling you. But a long year from last year, it's from when I started going hard making these videos, to now. It's amazing. It's been a blessing. So, that's pretty much going to be it here. I'm not sure what else could I have covered here. What else did I have added? Did I miss anything? I think I covered everything. I think we covered everything. So next video, Team Rocket. Team Rocket is what the next video is going to be about. Because while Saturday they gave you this imbalanced water, fire, grass, they're making tomorrow, or, well, it would have been tomorrow, right? They're making that Team Rocket. So that should be interesting. Spoilers, I did have fun with it. I imagine everybody had fun with it. You could do this rather quickly with how they did things. They scaled back some of the bosses too. So maybe I'll show some footage along with that. I think I will. I think I have some archived somewhere that I could upload side by side with it and then talk about my feelings of GoFest as I promised you, and showcase and talk about whatever shinies I got on Sunday as well. So as always, thank you again for the support. I need you guys to stay blessed, stay focused on positive things. Again, trying times right now, but we're going to get through it. We're going to make it through it. Let me know how many Pokemon you got that were good. Was this a good GoFest experience for you? Would you do it again? Did you like having 2 days versus 1 day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll probably ask that last question again next video too. But see you guys in the next one. Other yellow hat guy. Yes, yellow hat guy. We had a blank hat a year ago, and now we've got the embroider here. Had my T-shirt too. I did wear this shirt, I think Sunday, because I wore the red shirt on Saturday. I saw a few of you with that one on too. I should have got that Gengar shirt though. All right, I'm out.